What if the thing that's been stressing you out today isn't actually happening? Not in the way you think it is. Not in the way your body is bracing for. There's a guided meditation at the end of this to help you feel what I mean. But first, let's talk about why you feel the way you feel right now. Here's the claim we're going to sit with: your pain, the low-grade dread, the tight chest, the replaying of conversations at 2 a.m. isn't being caused by the world, or by other people, or by your circumstances. It's being caused, almost entirely, by the stories your mind is generating about what's happening. And that matters, because most of us spend our whole lives trying to rearrange the outside world in order to feel okay, when the actual source of the discomfort is much closer than we've been told. Much closer, and much more changeable. Let me give you a scenario you've probably lived through. It's a normal Tuesday. You're at your desk. An email comes in from your boss. 3 words: can we talk? No context. No emoji. No warmth. Just those 3 words sitting there like a small, cold stone. And within 30 seconds, before you've done anything, before you've even replied, you have mentally drafted your termination letter. You've rehearsed the conversation. You've wondered how you'll cover next month's rent. You've calculated how long your savings will last. You felt a specific, familiar dread settle into your chest, the kind that makes your shoulders creep up toward your ears. Your mouth goes dry. You read the email again, looking for clues, and every time you read it, it sounds worse. An hour later, you find out they wanted to move a meeting from Thursday to Friday. That's it. That's the whole thing. Now here's the part that's worth pausing on. The email didn't cause any of what you felt. 3 words on a screen have no power to raise your heart rate or tighten your chest. Your mind wrote an entire thriller using those 3 words as raw material, and your body lived inside that thriller as if it were real. The cortisol was real. The dread was real. The lost hour was real. But the threat you were responding to, that didn't exist anywhere except in your own head. And this is not a story about one email. This is the pattern of an entire life. Here's a way to picture it. Imagine you're sitting in a dark room, watching a movie projected onto the wall in front of you. The movie is intense, full of threat, chaos, betrayal, uncertainty. And for years, you've been trying to fix the movie by working on the wall. You paint over it. You patch the cracks. You rearrange the furniture in front of it. You install better lighting. You change jobs, change partners, change cities, change your body, change your schedule, all trying to make the picture on the wall less disturbing. But the picture isn't coming from the wall. The picture is coming from the projector behind you. Everything you've been trying to change is just the surface where the image lands. That's why the changes never quite work. That's why the relief is always temporary. You solve one thing and the same feeling shows up wearing different clothes, because you've been treating the screen instead of the source. This lesson is asking you to do one strange, small thing. Turn around and look at the projector. Now, if you're being honest, there's a question that shows up here that feels uncomfortable. If the world isn't causing my pain, then what is? And the answer is not one anyone particularly wants to hear at first. Because the answer is, you are. Or more precisely, the interpretive machine in your mind is. The part of you that never stops narrating. The part that reads 3 words and writes a novel. The part that hears a tone of voice and drafts an indictment. The part that sees a friend not text back and constructs an entire arc of rejection. And I want to be careful here, because this can sound like blame. Like, great, one more thing that's my fault. But this isn't about fault. It's actually the opposite. This is the first genuinely good news most of us have heard in a long time. Because if your pain is being caused by the world, you are stuck. You have to wait for your boss to be nicer, your partner to change, the economy to recover, your parents to finally see you, the weather to break, the news to calm down. You're waiting for a world that has never once, in the entire history of the world, agreed to arrange itself for your comfort. But if your pain is being caused by the stories running through your mind about the world, that's something you actually have some access to. That's something you can meet. That's something that can shift. Here's the reframe. Plainly, your thoughts are not reporting on reality. They're creating your experience of reality. When the email came in, your mind didn't observe a threat. It manufactured one, then handed it to you as if it were a fact. And your body, being loyal, believed the report. This is happening constantly, not just with emails. With the look your partner gave you at breakfast, with the silence from a friend, with the number on the scale, with the way your day is going. Your mind is generating a version of the moment and calling it the moment. Notice, this doesn't mean nothing is happening out there. Emails come, bills come. People behave in ways that are hard. Real things occur, but between the thing that happens and the suffering you feel, there is a step. There is always a step. There is a story your mind tells about what that thing means, what it predicts, who you have to become in response to it. And that story is the actual source of what you feel. Once you see this, not as a belief, but as something you catch yourself doing in real time, something quiet starts to change. You don't have to take my word for any of this. This isn't a doctrine. It's an experiment. The next time your chest tightens, try this. Don't try to fix the feeling. Don't try to argue with the situation. Just ask, quietly, what am I telling myself right now about what's happening? What story is running in the background that I've been treating as fact? And watch what happens. You'll usually find a sentence in there, something like, this is going to end badly. Or, I'm going to be exposed. Or, they don't respect me. Or, I'm falling behind. Something specific, something old. Probably. Something you've been saying to yourself for years without noticing. Just seeing that sentence, not fighting it, just seeing it, loosens its grip. Because a sentence you can see is no longer running you from behind. It's in front of you now, where you can look at it and go, is that actually true? Do I actually know that? And almost always, the honest answer is, no. I don't know that. I've been treating a guess as a fact. I've been living inside a story I wrote without realizing I was the author. And here's what tends to happen when this lands. Not fireworks, not sudden bliss. Just a quiet exhale. A small dropping of the shoulders. Because you realize you're not as powerless as you thought. The stress doesn't magically vanish. The deadlines are still there. The hard people are still there. The uncertain future is still uncertain. But the grip loosens. You're no longer waiting for the world to become perfect before you're allowed to feel okay. You're no longer trying to paint the wall. You've turned around, and you can see the projector, and you understand, maybe for the first time, that you have some say in what plays. That's the shift. Not that life becomes easy, that you stop being a hostage to your own interpretations. And now, if you're willing, let's take a few minutes to actually feel this in the body. Because understanding it is one thing. Letting it settle is another. If this felt grounding, you're welcome to like the video and subscribe. No rush. Just a gentle way to stay connected as we continue. Let's take a few minutes together. You don't have to do anything special. Just let your body settle into whatever it's sitting or lying on. Feel the weight of yourself. The chair. The floor, the place where your body ends and the room begins. Let your breath be however it already is. You don't need to make it deeper. You don't need to make it slower. Just notice that it's happening on its own. And now, gently, bring to mind something small that's been bothering you today. Not the biggest thing. Something ordinary. A conversation. A message, a worry that keeps circling. Notice where you feel it in your body. Maybe the chest. Maybe the jaw. Maybe the stomach. Just find it, and stay there for a moment. Not trying to fix it, just noticing. Now, quietly, see if you can find the sentence underneath the feeling. The story your mind is telling about what's happening. Don't argue with it, just let it be visible. And remember the projector. The image on the wall isn't coming from the wall. The tightness you feel isn't coming from the thing that happened. It's coming from the story about the thing. Let that be okay. You're not broken for doing this. Every mind does this. And now, softly, loosen your grip on the story. Just a little. You don't have to let it go. Just hold it more gently. Feel what happens in the body when you do. Maybe the chest opens a little. Maybe the shoulders drop. Maybe nothing obvious. That's okay too. Rest here. There's nothing to figure out, nothing to solve. The moment you're in right now is asking nothing of you. Breathe, and know that this same softening is available to you later today. When the next small stress arrives, you can pause. You can notice the story. You can loosen your grip. Whenever you're ready, let your attention come back to the room, to the sounds around you, to the weight of your body, to this ordinary moment, which turns out to be enough. We're glad you practiced with us today. If it's helpful, a free digital copy of A Course in Miracles is available via the link in the description. You're also welcome to leave a short comment like, "I am grateful. Thank you for spending this time here." If something in this landed, let it land quietly. You don't have to do anything with it today. Just notice. Over the next few hours, How often your mind hands you a story and calls it reality. That noticing is the whole practice. Be gentle with yourself. I'll see you soon.